Hello, my name is Tim Reed, and I'm here to introduce a software tool that I've developed, which is designed to help teachers to manage test data and turn it into useful feedback for their pupils. The idea is that you start off with spreadsheets with lots of marks for assessments, such as a homework here, a test here, and an essay here, and then can generate individual letters for each pupil like this, which tells them how many marks they've been attaining in different topics across your subject, and overall percentages. Now, it automatically does this using some code in Visual Basic and then a mail merge. Okay, so this has been using this or a version like this in our physics department. It was very specific to certain tests that we do, and I've made it so it's very generic and could be used by teachers of any subject, especially those that have a lot of different topics across them. When we've given these sorts of things to pupils, it means that they can prioritize what they want to revise for final exams that are coming up. It gives them an idea of what they've been doing well in and what they maybe need to work on. So if this is something of interest to you, I'll go on to explain it. I'll begin with the spreadsheet. Now, on the names sheet, you'll have noticed this is names you might be familiar with if you've watched Friends. I've left space in here for 50 names. Hopefully no one has a class size that's bigger than 50, but if you do, this could always be modified. So as a general rule, you only change the fields highlighted yellow, so you would enter your class names in here, okay, and surnames and first names. Then this tab here is topics. I've chosen some topics that I think some of the characters might be good at: paleontology, acting, waitressing, etc. And they've got a short topic name, which makes things easier when you're recording data on things and for the code to work. So just a 3-letter identifier here. For my physics classes, I'd be using things like waves properties and nuclear radiation and electric circuits, stuff like that. So you would fill this in with whatever's useful for your subject. I'll skip these next 2 tabs. Okay, that one actually should be empty to start with. I'll delete that. Doesn't need to be empty, it will automatically wipe it when you run the code. Now, the tabs where you need to enter all the data from tests that you've done are numbered A1 all the way up to A50. If you happen to have 50 bits of assessment, you may do a little revision test every week or something like that. Seems likely there'll be a bit fewer than that, but for example, this one, you have to fill in an assessment name at the top. I've just called it homework 1 and added the date as well. That will have to be there for this to be counted in the analysis, and it's got 10 questions labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These don't have to be numbers, they could be like 2A or something like that if you like. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay. Now underneath is the marks available for each question. So it could be, if these are exam style questions, some of them are worth 6 marks, some are worth just 5, 3, 4, 11, whatever you like. Okay, whatever kind of, this will be familiar to anyone who's done exams with the SQA in Scotland or GCSEs, etc. Here's the topic identifier for each question. So question 1 is about waitressing. That is the call sign you remember here. I said short topic name, WAI for waitressing. Okay, so that's there. This one is on wisecracks, acting, etc. These are the marks that each pupil got, and you'll notice here that Ross just has minus 99 for each one. So this would be when Ross has failed to do the homework and hasn't delivered it. So that will not be counted in any analysis that we do. Those marks will not go towards, say, his mark for friendliness, acting, all these topics that I've invented. Now, any negative number will do. I use minus 99 because it's clear to see it, okay, and you can instantly see, oh, they didn't do this. If you leave it blank, it will be counted as a 0. So we'll say, oh, they did this homework, but they got 0 for that mark. So you're best to use these when pupils have not done that bit of assessment. Here on tab A2, we've got another one. This is say a class test, which had 15 questions. Again, marks for each question and the topic identifiers for each question. You'll see here, though, that Rachel has these ones left at minus 99. So she didn't do these questions on the topic of friendliness. Maybe she hadn't studied that and the teacher told her not to attempt those questions, so those will not be included. It won't count as a 0 mark in friendliness, so 0 out of however many marks. It'll just be there are no marks available for friendliness in this test for Rachel. So that could be useful, for example, if you have a differentiated test and you want to have, say, questions 1 to 10 for people who are studying a certain level, and then if the extension questions 11 up to 15 for pupils who are working at a higher level than that. Last one, I'll just put in a single thing on just one topic, okay, an acting essay, and this one, Chandler didn't do this, maybe he was off the day they did that. Okay, and the rest all have their marks out of 20 for this one. So I've just included 3 for now. If I go to this tab that says choices down the bottom, this gives the check boxes here. You can choose which ones to include in your analysis. For example, if I just go for homework 1 to begin with, click here, it jumps to the summary tab, and it has done some calculations. So it's gone through there. For Chandler here, it's worked out there were 24 marks out of 50 that he got in this assessment, which is 48%. 8 of those marks were for paleontology out of 11 that were available for paleontology, so he's got 73% in paleontology for this one. He got 0 out of 6 for acting, etc., and this goes all the way along through all the different topics. You'll see for Ross it's just stayed blank and there's no marks available for any of this because he didn't do that assessment. If we do, for example, all 3 of these assessments, click here. It's now got, in total, there are 170 marks if they did all 3 assessments. Chandler didn't do one of the things, so he's only got 150 marks available. It creates a string here which tells you what assessments they did. He only did 2 of them. Ross only did 2 of them, and the others all did all 3. Although, as you remember, Rachel had a few questions she didn't do from the test, so that's why her total marks available is a bit less. Again, it's now got the paleontology marks across all 3 of those, so it's added up how many marks were available in paleontology for that across those 3 assignments. Okay, and this Phoebe here has got 21 out of 27. So this is all done with a bunch of Visual Basic code, which is hidden behind the spreadsheet. If you want to look at that and you're familiar with this stuff, you can feel free to edit that away. Improve it, because it may be possible that this brings up errors for certain data sets. I don't know, I haven't tested it very much. But why is this useful? Well, first of all, as a teacher, you could use this and analyze this further, figure out if there's any particular topics that kids have not been doing so well in, and you could think, well, maybe that's the one I need to do a review lesson on. But for pupils themselves, what you do is create this thing I showed you at the start. I've got example pupil feedback report. Okay. And excuse me, what I've generated here is a report for Central Park Academy, and this is a mail merge document. If you're not familiar with mail merge, what it does is produce an individual letter for each person in a data set, and the data set we're going to use is that spreadsheet we've generated. So if you go to mailings at the top, and you need to do select recipient, use an existing list, and find the spreadsheet that we've been using. Okay, I clicked on that spreadsheet file, and it was in the summary tab where all the processed information is gone. So if I click on that, we now find that if I go insert merge field, it gives me all these things like paleontology marks available, paleontology percentage, etc., cooking, songwriting marks, and then surname. If I click there, it puts the surname in. Okay, I've already got that. If I was to then preview these results, so for the first person, Chandler Bing, it's filled in all his data from there. So the marks he's got in each subject, each topic I mean, and the percentages come into this column, okay, and an overall percentage down the bottom. I'll just undo that and delete this. We don't need his name twice. Now when I preview the results, and if I go through here, it will look at all the people in the data set. So there's Phoebe's marks, Monica, Ross, Rachel, and Joey. If I now go finish and merge, edit individual documents, all of them, and it creates a Word file for me that I can print and give the individual page to each pupil so they can use that for their revision purposes. I hope this comes in useful. We've certainly had good feedback on it from our pupils, hoping that it will help us to plan our revision sessions before they do final exams. I think it's particularly useful for pupils in the senior stage sitting exams such as National 5s and Highers, so that's for people in Scotland. I'm sure the same could apply down south. I've tried to make it as generic as possible. Please do give me any feedback on it. If you want to add to it, improve the code, anything like that, do let me know, and that would be interesting to hear.